Live from JRU Radio from New York. This is Smokey here, and my tea is gonna be a little late. Anyways, you know our motto: no child rejected, and no child refused to participate. Call 718-683-5858. Text 347-927-8398, and to listen to the wonderful show. 712-432-4217 on the JRoot Radio app. And last week's question. Who was Naomi's husband? Who was Naomi's husband? And the answer was Elimelech. And thank you to all those that texted. And my teacher. Hold on the show. Okay, my cash came on the show.
Oh, wow. Okay. Smokey, what did you do?
I introduced you.
You introduced me? Oh, all right. Here, live from New York. This is the JRoot Radio Kishroni Hour. I'm Moshe Groffel here with myself right now. And we are having a guest coming in about just about a few minutes. He's running a little bit on the late side. And Smokey, did you do the answer question?
I did whatever you told me to do.
Okay, so I am going to, I guess, have the connection over here. And I am going to repeat it.
Well, don't repeat it. I said it.
Well, I'm going to repeat it because it wasn't clear enough, evidently. And so, yeah. Okay. This week's question.
You mean last week's question?
Right. Last week's question. The answer to last week's question was, who was Naomi's husband? And that was Elimelech. It says so in the next pasuk. This parsha question, this Shavuos question, what are the different names of Shavuos? We want to know what the different names for Shavuos. There's a few different names. There's different, I'm not going to say them because otherwise I'll be giving you the answer. If you know the answer, you can text it in 347-927-8398. 347-927-3279, which is my show number. Anyways, this week, Rabbanim and Eretz Yisrael request of you, their children, whoever's listening, we request of you to say Kapitel of Tehillim in regards to what's happening in Eretz Yisrael. And yeah, Bezat Hashem, it should all go well. And, Pesach Sheni is coming, and that is actually what our guest speaker is going to talk about, our guest who's going to be coming in a few minutes. So he's going to talk about Pesach Sheni. But I do want to talk about, Lag BaOmer is coming up. And, we are going to have a special guest on Lag BaOmer right here on JRoot Radio, Kishroni Hour. We are going to have a beautiful show, and we're going to have a wonderful guest. And hopefully he is going to be able to do some great things for us. And even if not, that's terrific. Anyways, so I do want to say, yeah, we're going to have a guest next week, Lag BaOmer, a special guest. I also want to announce that sponsorship is available, and I have a Chesed fund for JRoot Radio, and you don't even have to go to the website anymore. We go to the Chesed fund, and for those who want the link, please text 347-927-3279, and I'm gonna give you the link. Okay, so we are finished with the questions. I want to remind everybody to please daven for Alexander, Ziship, and Eliza. And yeah, so anyways, our storyteller, our friend came in, and we're glad he's in here. And we're going to just introduce him right after I say my little story about Rav Shimon ben Gamliel. You know, Kindle, Rav Shimon ben Gamliel. Who was Rav Shimon ben Gamliel?
I'm Rav Shimon ben Gamliel.
Rav Shimon ben Gamliel. That's what I just said, Schmaltz. Rav Shimon ben Gamliel, he was the head of the Sanhedrin, a very wise leader. He was a Nazi in those days. Well, one day he told his attendant, Toby, go to the market and buy me something good to eat. Well, so the attendant left and he purchased a tongue. Now, Kindle, you know, you may be thinking, what is he doing? The best part is buying a tongue? A tongue? Is he for real? And yeah, well, he showed her, the attendant showed Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel the tongue. Excellent, said Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel. Now, go back to the market and buy something that's not good to eat. And Toby was surprised at Rabbi Shimon's quest, but okay, he goes back to the marketplace. What should I buy? What thing? What thing should I buy? Well, what did we buy over here? He bought something really interesting. And he bought this bad food. He entered a butcher shop and he ordered another tongue. So, and he returned them to the Shimon ben Gamliel. Shimon ben Gamliel said, I don't understand. Well, I do understand, but when I asked you to buy something good to eat, you bought a tongue. And then I send you a second time something bad to eat, you also come back with a tongue. You know? Toby said, the attendant told Rav Shimon ben Gamliel, well, you know, sometimes the tongue is used for good, and sometimes a tongue is used for bad. But when a tongue is used for the good, that's terrific. However, when they're not speaking nicely about people, when you're not talking nicely about the people, oh no, that's not good. That's right, that isn't good. And they bring about some bad things. And Rav Shimon ben Gamliel smiled. Rav Shimon ben Gamliel smiled, and he understood with his attendant. And without further ado, I'm going to welcome my assistant. And he's not really my assistant, but he's really just a storyteller. Yeah, and well, before we introduce to you, number one, what is your name?
My name is Rabbi Phillips.
Rabbi Phillips. So, you know, boys and girls who are listening, Rabbi Phillips is here. He's going to talk to us about a little about Pesach Sheni, and you know, there's something interesting. He tells stories. Now, what's interesting to note is I spoke to some storytellers too, and I'm a storyteller myself, believe it or not, as you hear every week on this show. And this person, he's a storyteller, and this question is just for him because I already know how I started, and you guys probably also know how I started. So this question is for him. How did you start? How did you start becoming a storyteller, and what's the idea to how to get the kids interested in that?
I started telling stories when I started teaching. So I really think to teach, I'm very happy that I have this big merit, a big schus to teach Torah to children. And a very essential part of teaching is stories. If you look in the Torah...
So you teach?
I teach the children, and also a lot of stories. So it's a very essential part. Before you tell someone, you know, what you have to do, you have to show them an example. If you look in the Torah, before we have all the mitzvahs, like what you have to do, you have this, you know, the others. You see examples of tzaddikim. So just in general, I feel it's a very important thing, and it makes a very deep impression on a person to hear a real example, and you could, you know how to copy them, had a copy deeds of tzaddikim.
That's amazing. So how you started is just like you just taught and you decided one day, okay, I'm going to tell a story, and if you don't like it, too bad.
I don't know if you don't like it too bad, but it seems like I noticed when I would say a story,
They happen to like it.
They happen to like it a lot. Even someone who like was a little hard to pay attention the whole time of a different part of learning, when it came to the story, I noticed that everyone's entranced, listening to every word.
Right. Another question.
Yeah.
So you started by teaching. So how do you get them interested?
How do I get them interested in a story?
Like, what's the quality to get kids interested in a story?
Well,
Wait, Rashi, you did a good job telling us.
Hey, Schmalky, please don't interrupt me. I'm well interviewed. But sorry, that's my sidekick.
I don't really use tricks too much. I don't use the sound effects. The only advice I would tell someone is just to make sure the story is very clear. You know exactly what the story is. And usually if you're telling, the proof is by the children. The children, I think, are the most pure and of anything. If you tell a real pure story, something that's a real good lesson from it, so the children pick up on what's truth and they just like it. I don't have any sound effects or any things, and the children just like to hear it. They hear real facts, real things.
I know this wasn't planned, but can you tell me something? You're a teacher, right?
Yeah.
So when you teach, so you must know something about Lag BaOmer.
Yeah.
A little bit about something like BaOmer. You don't have to tell a story about Lag BaOmer, but just some, kids, I understand you might have a question, but I always had this question, and I think he may have an answer. Rav Zalman might have an answer to this question. Well, I always wondered why we always have a bonfire. What does a bonfire have to do with Lag BaOmer? You ever had such a question in your mind?
I have a question. I have a question sometimes. I can tell you a little bit more about Lag BaOmer in general. The bonfire, I'm not sure. I have to get back to you on that one.
Okay. Well, I might have a good answer to that. My answer is as follows: that Rav Shimon Bar Yochai was compared. If you compare him to a fire, he was mamish like a fire. He ignited the world with his fire, and that I believe is one of the answers. I think. Anyways, so tell us something about Lag BaOmer.
Says they told the Rav Shimon ben Yochai from heaven, from Shamayim, is that with this sefer you wrote, the Zohar, the Jewish people are going to go out of Golus, go to Mashiach with mercy. That's the whole reason why the world was created, from Bereshis, from the beginning. But there's different ways it can happen. It says that if the Jewish people deserve it, they go flying on the cloud with the big miracles. If we don't deserve, then it could come, Mashiach could come like on a donkey, and not as spectacular way. But the fact that people learn Rav Shimon ben Yochai's teaching, which is the deeper parts of the Torah, and it inspires us to serve Hashem the right way, so it makes that when we serve Hashem in a right way, in a beautiful way, in a way of beauty, Hashem gives us everything back in a beautiful, amazing way.
This is an unbelievable explanation. I never heard this one before, but anything else? Kendall, talking about Lag BaOmer next week is Lag BaOmer, and I am having a special guest. I'm sure you know him, 8th Day.
Okay, I heard of him.
You weren't supposed to tell them.
Yeah, that's right, Schmalky, and look at that, I told. So another, what I'm going to tell you guys is Rav Shimon Bar Yochai. He was in the cave for many, many years, and the whole story is that he was, because of the Romans, came to look for him, and he was in a cave for many, many years, and all he did was learn.
He never got bored.
I don't know. I wasn't on his level, and I wasn't around that small.
Okay. Well, I guess you should go back to the interview.
Oh, we're gonna go back to the interview. Okay. So now we discussed.
Discuss Lag BaOmer.
Yes, I discussed Lag BaOmer, and we discussed Lag BaOmer. So now we're going to discuss Shmoky. What do you want to discuss?
I want to discuss about Pesach Sheni.
Oh, Pesach Sheni? You like Pesach?
Yeah, I like Pesach, but I don't like Sheni.
Oh, you don't like Sheni? Okay. So tell us, what is Pesach Sheni? No, I'm not gonna do that. You have something about Pesach Sheni, I heard, right? You had something prepared, like a big story, right?
Yeah. First, we discussed Pesach Sheni a little bit.
Let's talk about what is Pesach. For the kids listening, Rav Zalman Phillips He's a teacher, and we are now going to talk about Pesach Sheni, one of the little bit of it's a Yom Tov, we don't see Tachnun, and it's a little bit like Ba'omer, but it's Pesach Sheni is for we're going to discuss right now. Yeah, what is Pesach Sheni? And obviously I know, and hopefully you kids listening, you know, and hopefully you people watching on here, you know, because if you don't know, then we're gonna have to go back to Torah learning. Okay, go ahead.
Well, just in short, the story that happened and then how it applies to now is when the Jewish people left Mitzrayim. So when it came time to bring the Korban Pesach, some people were impure; they were tamei for either different reasons. Could be they're taking care of Yosef or a different mitzvah. And
they had a baby.
Who had a baby?
I don't know.
Okay, Smokey, so don't talk.
Someone who's tamei, he can't bring a korban. So they came to Moshe and said, Moshe, it's not fair. We want, we don't we're not allowed to, but we want to bring a korban. We want to bring the Korban Pesach. So Moshe went to Hashem, and Hashem said, yes, I'll give you another chance. Hashem was happy with the request that they wanted to do more mitzvahs. So Hashem said, even someone who was tamei, I'm going to give you a second chance. And that's like a lesson for forever for us, is that Hashem's always throwing us, a second chance. Even someone who, you missed the first time, you missed the boat. Oh, am I lost? Is it given up? No, it's not given up. A person who wants to return to Hashem, who wants a chance to do another mitzvah, wants to do another good thing, Hashem said, I'll make a new opportunity. I'll always give a person who wants to come close to Hashem a chance to do another mitzvah.
So, Kedulach, listening. So, if you sometimes do something a little, chas v'shalom, something that's not so good, you can always, Hashem is always waiting for you to return. And that's what Pesach Sheni really is about. Pesach Sheni is about having a second Pesach because, unfortunately, there were Yidden that were Tama. They had different things. They were either had a baby, they were Tama of, there were different Tamas. And, they touched Yosef's thing. So there were different reasons upon it. I'm not going to get into it. But, yeah. And we're going to get back to...
nowadays, if you just think, nowadays we didn't bring a Korban Pesach this year.
So nowadays, what should we think about Pesach Sheni?
Well, now we should think, listen, the Jews, even back then, they couldn't bring a Korban Pesach. And what do? They said, we want a chance to do another mitzvah.
Mm-hmm.
So nowadays, I didn't bring a Korban Pesach this year. I don't think anybody did. So if we daven to Hashem, we bring a Korban Pesach, we want the base on Mikdash, we want to do all the mitzvahs that we don't have now when we're still in Gullus. So Hashem likes that. When we ask, we want to do more mitzvahs, we want Mashiach. And Hashem likes our request, and He's going to bring Mashiach very soon. Especially,
Hashem.
You know who's the most powerful of anybody? Take a guess. Hashem. But who out here in the world? Who's the most powerful?
Well, you know what? Boys and girls, if you know the answer to that question, who's the most powerful? Not who's the most powerful. Whose feelings are the most powerful? You can text it into the studio or to me at 347-927-8398, 347-927-3279, and we are going to give you a free CD. How does that sound?
A free CD from who?
Well, Bez Hashem, hopefully I come out with a CD.
You don't have any stories.
I got plenty of smoke. So let's go back to Pesach Sheni. So nowadays, that kids out there, you guys know who's the most skills are powerful because I also know that. So I'm making you guys guess. Anyways, let's go back to Pesach Sheni. And I believe you have something like real good story. I heard.
Story? Yeah. Okay. Pesach Sheni is connected to Tshuva, so we can fix up. And also, we're in middle spiritual aimer. We're getting ready for Shavuos. So in Shavuos,
that's another thing I never discussed. Spiritual aimer. How did the thing spiritual aimer come upon?
There's one of the explanations is when we left Mitzrayim, we heard that in 50 days we're getting the Torah. And the Jewish people were so excited we're getting the Torah from Hashem, but they couldn't hold themselves back. And they were counting the days. Every day, when's it coming? They're counting. 50 days, 49 days, 48, 47. And so now also, every year Hashem's, when we come to Shavuos, we're again getting the Torah in a greater way, in a higher way, because the Torah is unlimited. So we're so excited, we're counting the days, when are we going to get the Torah again? That's one explanation.
Interesting. Okay, so when I hope Bez Hashem soon we're going to receive the real thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so well, that was Sphira. So you know that somebody once told me about where Sphira were sad that Rabbi Akiva is a little it's a small Avelis that you kids out there, if you know why we are a little bit of Avelis, a little bit of being mourning, why are we sad? I mean, we're not spiritually sad. We're sad about what happened, and there's a big lesson to learn out of that. But I'm getting carried away because we're talking about Pesach Sheni, which is a holiday, which is the Yom Tov. So let's go to the story. Straight to the story.
Yeah, I love stories.
Of course, Shvalky. That's why I invited you then.
So Shavuos is also the yahrzeit of the Baal Shem Tov. So this story has a lot packed in. It has Tshuva, Baal Shem Tov. It also has a storyteller in there. So I really like the story. I'm sure the children will like it too.
And yes, B'ezras Hashem, I will be coming out with a CD. Unfortunately, not at the time. I don't know when, but yeah, it is in the making. Yes.
Is right before the Baal Shem Tov, he passed away. So he gathered his students nearby, and he told them each what their mission is after he passes away. So one of them, he was his helper, a big schos, a merit to be a helper of the tzaddik. His name was Rabbi Yaakov, and he told them, your job is to go from town to town, different cities, and say over stories.
I know that one.
Shmelky, please, don't interrupt the storyteller.
And say over stories of Baal Shem Tov, of what you saw and heard by him. And that'll be a very great thing, because Jewish people will be inspired by hearing a story of a tzaddik and hearing how to serve Hashem better. Okay? So after the Baal Shem Tov passed away, Rabbi Yaakov took a suitcase, his towels, and tefillin, some clothes, some food, and he left. So wherever he came, people were very happy to see him. And it inspired people. He told them also to read Torah, and they called him, wow, this is the very big, like a Magid, they called him. So he was doing this for a few years. Now, back then, to go say stories places is a lot harder than now. Now we could sit here together, and across the world they can hear us at the same time. We don't need to go that far.
You know what? You think it's not hard? Huh? It's hard.
I also know it's hard. I also put a lot of work. I put a lot of work in the stories, but I don't think it's as hard as the person in this story. He had to travel around with a horse and wagon for weeks to get places.
So you think he had an easier time because he traveled around?
Maybe.
I don't know. I wasn't there. Okay.
To keep it simple, I'll say he had a harder time. He had to travel around.
Traveling is hard.
And it's kind of tough. So he would travel for weeks and months on end, and then he would come home. So he did this for a few years, and for Parnassa, for his money, is when he would go say stories to people, people would appreciate it, people would give him some money. He'd bring it back home for his wife and kids. One time when he came home, his wife was begging him, maybe you can change your job, not be a storyteller anymore. We kind of miss you. We want to have you home. So he said, I also would want to be home, be around my family more, but this is my special mission I got from the Baal Shem Tov. So until I get some kind of sign from Shemayim, then I'll stop. And until then, I'm gonna continue. So again, he wanted another trip, and this time he got his sign. This trip, he came up to the border of Italy. He was almost gonna go back home.
Wow. So how did you get the story? That's interesting. By the way, I never saw this part of the story. Okay.
It's from a book called The Storyteller.
The Storyteller, probably Hannah Feller.
So he was almost by Italy, and he heard that in Rome there's a rich person who he loves to hear stories of the Baal Shem Tov. And anybody who comes to him to the story of Baal Shem Tov, he gives him a lot of money. So he said, good, it's very good. I'll go somewhere, and the guy's a rich person. I'll have a place to stay, and I'll get paid for it. He came there, and when he came to the shul, he started telling people who he is. The guy in charge of the shul, the rich, like the person in charge of a lot of things and money. Yeah. So he heard who he was. He gave him a big hug and said, you'll stay in my house for the next few days. Please stay by me. He gave him a nice room. He gave him his own personal servant. And in the meantime, everyone heard that a helper of the Baal Shem Tov,
this person had a lot of stories. Yeah.
Yeah, came into town. And what they used to do, whenever this rich person had an important guest, he would invite the whole town to come to him for Shabbos. Okay? So the Yaakov is thinking, perfect, a big crowd. I know a lot of stories. He prepared a lot of stories to say. Came Friday night, and this rich person's huge house was packed with people. A lot of people came for the meal. And even people who didn't eat the meal there Once they finished eating at home with their, with their family, wife and children, they said, okay, now let's go, everyone who could. We're going to hear the best stories ever. They didn't have storytellers. They all came, and the rich person in the house got up and was telling everyone, listen, we have a very special person, special guest. He's going to share with us some stories of Baal Shem Tov. And now, dear Rabbi Yaakov, please say a story.
Okay, I'm gonna.
Shmulky, not you.
So what happened? Yaakov just opened his mouth to say a story, and he went, I could show you, went, just froze. His mind went blank, like a blank piece of paper.
So for those kids who are listening and you're not getting so much story, basically this traveler who's a student of the Baal Shem Tov, and he went from place to place, and he's now by this rich person's house, and they asked him to say a story, and his mouth froze.
His brain.
And this is where
everything.
Now we're up to that part where the freezing.
And his mind went blank. He couldn't remember a thing. So everyone's looking at him. They're staring at him. Like, why is he quiet? Why isn't he saying anything? So he's all embarrassed. And people are looking like, is this guy real? Is this guy a faker? He just pretended to be a storyteller. He's not saying anything. And he wanted a free place to stay in a rich guy's house. So the only person who was calm was the rich man. He said, oh, don't worry. It happens sometimes. Probably a long trip. Let's sing some Shabbos Midas. Okay. So everyone was wondering what happened there. Poor Yaakov, he was so embarrassed. He didn't know what happened to him. It never happened such a thing. He forgot every single story. He knew that so many stories. He went to his room, and he couldn't believe what happened. He was crying away, and all of a sudden, like a big light, his mind, all his memory came back. He said, oh, thank you, Hedek Tzadik Baal Shem Tov. Thank you. And he fell asleep. So the next morning, he told his host, a memory came back. Oh, wonderful. I knew what happened. It's fine. Good. So by the Shabbos meal today, I'm sure you'll say stories. To make a story short, came right after the Shalom. He's supposed to speak. Same thing happened. He's about to speak. His mind went blank. But this time, everyone's looking at him. This guy's a faker. What happened here? Can't say any stories. So the only one who was calm was the rich man. He said, oh, don't worry about it.
He was embarrassed, right?
Yeah, Yaakov was very embarrassed. He couldn't believe it. So, but he said, oh, don't worry, there's another Suda coming up. Maybe you guys are shlishis, I'll remember something. The next Suda, again, couldn't remember anything. By this time, he had tears in his eyes. And most people by then didn't even show up. They figured this guy's a faker, doesn't have any stories, he's not even a storyteller. He tried to even remember the face of my tzaddik, the Baal Shem Tov, couldn't remember a thing. Shabbos was over, and the rich man said, maybe you remember one story? He said, I don't know what to tell you. I'm just very embarrassed, never happened to me. Must be I'm doing something wrong. Maybe I did an Aveda, I don't know what. But it seems like my mission is over, saying stories. I wish I would get a good sign. Unfortunately, it's like this, but I guess I'll go home, and that's it. The rich man said, no, please wait a little more. Another few days. You can stay here. If you don't remember
now, for those kids who are wondering why the rich man is so consistent about the person staying, about the student staying, we'll find out at the end of the story what happened.
So I came Sunday, didn't remember anything. Monday, Tuesday morning, he said, I don't remember a thing. I'm going back home, and I'm not being a storyteller anymore. Finished. I'm quitting. Okay? So the rich man gave him a nice bag of money. He said, okay, fine, you can go. He just got in the carriage, and he said, wait, I remember one story. The rich man's so excited. Please tell it to me. He said, 10 years ago, the Baal Shem Tov on Shabbos looked a little worried, uncomfortable. And after Shabbos was over, after Abdullah, he told me and some students, come on the wagon. Now the Baal Shem Tov's wagon, if you ever know how it traveled, had a very special light.
How did he travel?
We tell the wagon driver, let the horses go, let them go wherever they want. So
the horses went by themselves.
The horses knew where to go by themselves. And the wagon driver...
Kids, nowadays, if you can make that horses go by themselves, that's going to be some special treat.
Special trick. So they went through the night, and they came the next morning to some town they didn't recognize, and they came knocking on the door, and the window shade opened a little bit. They said, you're Jewish, what are you doing here? You don't know how dangerous it is? The priest makes a big speech. It's right by their holiday. And after their speech, they come and they attack us. It's very dangerous. If they see you, they're gonna They're going to do something to us. So they let him inside the house. They closed the door, locked it. Quick, scary. Baal Shem Tov told Yaakov, who was the storyteller, go by the big stage where everyone's going to come and listen to the priest speaking, and tell him Baal Shem Tov, sag me, told in Yiddish, he's Baal Shem Tov is da, and we will that with you.
And for those who don't know Yiddish, the Baal Shem Tov told the student, if you go up there, go up there and come down, tell that priest to come right here now.
So people in the house were screaming, you do that, so dangerous, they're going to beat you up, what's going to happen to you? He said, I wasn't scared. Baal Shem Tov told me, I'm going to do it. He went, and just when there were so many people there, no one looked at him. Just when this priest was getting up the steps to go give this speech, which usually he would say not nice things against the Jewish people when he did this speech, he told the priest in Yiddish the same words. The Baal Shem Tov's here, wants to speak to you. And the priest answered, I know, echveis, after my speech.
The question for you kids to figure out, how did this priest know?
How did he know Baal Shem Tov was there? And he answered Yiddish also. So he went back to Baal Shem Tov. Baal Shem Tov said, no, again in Yiddish. Tell him he has to come right now. So again, he went through the whole crowd, and this priest in the middle speaking. He pulled on his robe and said, Baal Shem Tov said, you have to come right now. So the priest had a little bit of a shock look on his face, said, okay, excuse me, people, I have something very important to do. I'll be back. And he followed Yaakov, went into that house. He went into a private room of Baal Shem Tov, and was there by himself for a few hours. Afterwards, the priest left, and no one saw him again. But seems like that's the only story I remember. And the miracle is that they didn't attack the Jewish people that year, because the guy didn't say his nasty speech.
Right?
Where was it? This rich man is thinking, listening. He jumps up, and he wants to start dancing. And Yaakov is looking like, dancing, what happened here? Why are we dancing all of a sudden?
This guy's gone nuts.
So, but he put his arm on his shoulder, and they started dancing. Okay, fine, let's dance. And then this rich man said, you said this story right. I know. I said, you know, what are you talking about? I said, yeah, I was that priest. What? You were a priest? Yeah, that was me. I said, well, what are you talking about? I said, listen, let me tell you. Let me tell you the other part of the story that you don't know. It says, when you came here now, I recognized your face. I knew who you were. I didn't tell you. I was that priest. I actually grew up as a child, a good Jewish boy. I went to yeshiva, but when I got, a little older, somehow the Yetzer Hara got me to do one thing wrong and another thing wrong. And I was smart. I figured, maybe if I want to show how smart I am to other people, and I went the wrong places, and more and more I got him until it got him so bad. It said, if you want to be really super famous, they don't let you do it if you're Jewish. So I'll act like the guy, and they made me, said, you're so smart, we'll make you a big person with a lot of honor, and we'll pay you a lot. I said, okay, fine, for the money, for the honor. And he was saying,
he fell for it.
He fell for it. He did a really bad thing. So I was rich. Everyone listened to me, give me so much honor. But it seems like, my parents, my grandparents, my holy ancestors had, rachmanis on me, they had mercy on me. And I started feeling uneasy, like, I know I have everything you could possibly imagine, but is this really what I should be doing? Doing not nice things and getting people to not like Jewish people. I started feeling a little, uncomfortable until one night I had a dream. I saw a very special person in my dream, and he said, my name is Yisrael Baal Shem Tov, and I want to tell you that you have to go back to be Jewish. So, in the dream, I screamed at him. I said, leave me alone! I woke up. I said, okay, that was just a dream. Let's forget about it. Okay. Then, my dream came back. This time, he said, no, you are Jewish. You must go back. You can't keep on doing what you're doing now. So after that, I woke up. I'm wondering, should I listen to him? Should I not? I know, I learned Torah. I know that Hashem always lets people do tshuva, but it's so hard. Should I really do it? And then when I woke up the next day, I was thinking, yeah, everyone's going to honor me, give me money. Nah, I'm not going to do it. Until the night before I was going to give this big speech, he came to me in a dream and said, I'm coming tomorrow to town to meet you. And you got to come back. I'll show you how to come back and do tshuva. So when you came to me, I I knew you would come. I knew the Baal Shem Tov was in town. I saw him a few times in my dream. But I agreed to go see him. It was a very hard thing for me. But once I was with the tzaddik in the room, he helped me break the Yitzhak, break all the not nice things I was doing until now.
Wow.
He helped me do tshuva. And I asked him, how, I did a lot of not good things in my life. How am I going to know when my tshuva, when Hashem takes me back and my tshuva is accepted? So Hashem told me, when someone's going to come and tell you this story about you, that means your tshuva was accepted. So I was waiting for 10 years to hear the story. And when I saw you, I said, it must be time that Hashem's taking me, accepting my tshuva, that all my avodas are gone. When you forgot your stories, you think it was because of you? It was because of me. I didn't do enough tshuva yet. Now that you finally remember, it must be a sign that the Shemayim, they accepted my tshuva now. So now your job as a storyteller is finished. And I'm going to give you a present. I'm a very rich person. I'm going to give you half everything I own, all the money I have. And now you can go home, and I'm sure you know how to use out the money for the right way to do mitzvahs, and you don't have to be a storyteller anymore.
Wow. So you said this story had to do with Pesach Sheni.
Yeah.
So how did it have to do with Pesach Sheni?
This person, you think he did a lot of things wrong. He grew up, his parents taught him right, and he was learning Torah, but then he decided all by himself, I want to do something wrong. I want to listen to Yitzhak. He went totally away the wrong way. And then what happened? This person was in the worst place, and they gave him another chance to come back and do tshuva.
So meaning he came back, so therefore therefore it's like Pesach Sheni.
Pesach Sheni, Hashem gives a person a second chance to do the right thing.
All right. I mean, okay.
You got it?
Yeah. Second
Any
chance.
other questions?
All right. So, all right. Wow. Now, Kindlech, those listening to that story, if you didn't really get the whole story, so I'm going to say it in my own words, and he's going to correct me if I'm wrong. So basically, the story was that this person, the student of the Baal Shem Tov, came to this Oisher, the rich person, and said he has a story, and this Oisher started dancing away, singing, not like that, of course, but yeah, whatever he was singing. And the student said, okay, and they put him up for Shabbos, and Shabbos night comes. Student looked around. This is my version, not Zalman's. Zalman's version is much better than mine. But my version is, he looked around.
What's the matter? You got a frog in your throat, Mikey?
Hey, Shmokey, that's not nice. Shmokey loves to interrupt me.
Yeah. I love to interrupt Mikey, but I'm going to say it in my version because Mikey needs to take a break. So basically, the story was he looked around the table and he couldn't talk, and
why couldn't he talk, Smokey?
Because he lost his voice. He was hurt.
Oh, stop it, Smokey. He wasn't a horse. No. So the guy he actually couldn't say the story because it was not time to say the story yet, as we're gonna see later on in that story. And he the next day, Shabbos morning, the Isha said, you know what? Stay again, don't worry. And he stayed, and he's about to say a story, and the story comes to his mind. I forgot the story again. And he forgot the story, so it wasn't, guys, if you were watching me waving, I was waving for Nisim. Shalom Achodem, Nisim. Ma shamcha? Nisim, you told me to mention something about Eretz Yisrael. You want to explain it to the kids?
Right now in Eretz Yisrael, we have a very big Hilul Shabbat. It's unbelievable. And all the Gedolei of Israel ask from all of us, basically, to take upon ourselves to this specific Shabbat, to read Tehillim. If you can finish the Tehillim book, it's excellent. If you read everything, just to show HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Avinu Shebashamayim, that we care about Shabbat, and we cannot stay silent on this huge Hilul Shabbat And Chilul Hashem, that's what happened right
And
now.
we won't stay silent. We're going to do what we need to do.
Okay, that's it. Then we have to protest again.
Yeah.
That's the only thing. That's really, there's a really big ma'ala and a request, huge request from all the building of Israel.
To say to Hillel to do what we can do. Yes, and now we're going to go back to the storyteller. The storyteller actually wanted to mention something about his. But he had a website. I believe that's the other storyteller.
Yeah, I forgot to mention before, is that after saying stories in class, and I saw how much the children enjoyed it, I always figured, I wish I could capture the moment and share it. Yeah? So...
Yeah, he's my junior reporter, Moshe Gutman, yeah? Okay, next.
I wish I could capture the moment and share it. And that actually became a reality after a little bit of time. First, I started recording, and at first I sent it to a few parents of the students, and I got very good feedback. And one of the parents especially was pushing me, oh, you gotta make a website, you gotta share it for everyone. He told me the name Jewish Bedtime Stories. I'm like, okay, Jewish Bedtime Stories, fine, okay. So first we made a website, which I gotta say, computers are not my expertise. I had to have some people help, which they did, we're always improving. And afterwards then someone told me, for children, it's a little hard sometimes to always be on the computer, maybe get a phone line. So we got a phone line too.
You got a phone line?
We have a phone line. Because you could listen either by a computer or even by calling on the phone. The phone number.
That's very interesting.
718-682-2777.
So what is that? That's the listening in line, like you can listen in live?
Shall I show you?
No, not over here,
No.
but maybe later on.
Okay. There's a whole options. You can listen to it's a whole options.
So what's this website name?
JewishBedtimeStories.com.
So, okay, for those who are listening, if you own a Naki radio, Jewish Bedtime Stories, is that your thing?
Yes.
See that? Boys and girls listening through that Naki radio, you get that Naki radio, you can actually get a free one. I'm going to be the sponsor this time. Of course, Nisam always tells me, I don't want you to be the sponsor. I have the guy who's going to do it. Nisam, nice try. This time I'm sponsoring the radio, and all right? It's on me. Nisam doesn't like it. Okay, Nisam, it's on you then. So the website is Jewish Bedtime Stories, and yeah, so that was the story. And of course, did my junior reporter call yet? Is he's supposed to call?
No, I don't see a request for junior reporter.
Yeah, you got a request for a junior reporter. All right, yeah, that's fantastic. Israel Mayer. Oh, boys and girls, if you want to be a junior reporter, there's another way. You can text me directly, 347-927-3279. I know it's a little similar to Jeru, and Baruch Hashem, Hashem was kind to me, and
You got a good storyteller.
yeah, I got a good storyteller. So you were mentioned Pesach Sheni, and now we came to talk about Lag BaOmer. So now we're gonna talk about a little bit about Shavuos, right? Right?
Okay. Right.
So, all right. So what story can we share from Shavuos?
Well,
Some short one.
something which is about Shavuos is when we came to Matan Torah, Hashem first asked the Jewish people, "How do I know you're gonna keep the Torah? How do I know you're gonna actually do it?"
Yeah.
I said, "That's a good question. We have very special others. Having Yitzchak and Yaakov. That's something good. We'll make sure we do it." And Hashem said, "That's not good enough. You might not be thinking about them." So he said, maybe tzaddikim, neviim, a bunch of different suggestions. And Hashem said, no, it's not good enough. Until the Jewish people said, our children, they will guarantee make sure we keep the Torah. And Hashem said, yes, that's good. If they're going to make sure you're going to keep the Torah, I'll give you the Torah based on that. So the children have, the whole reason why the Torah is given to us is because of the children. And the children always have the special power, again, more than anyone. When the children have the strong amun and they keep the Torah, it protects everyone. It protects the adults, and this is how we got the Torah from the children. And we're waiting again. We need the children's power. We need the children bring the mitzvahs that'll help the adults do the right thing also.
And you kids, this is why we're requesting of you for all children, boys and girls, young and old, to say some Tehillim this Shabbos, a massive thing with tremendous help for all Klal Yisrael, besides what's happening in Eretz Yisrael, and besides but I do want to say something that I didn't mention earlier, and it really touched my heart to say this. There was this boy, Rafael Shmuel, who was very young, a young age boy, and he never passed away. He had a transplant, passed away this week, and I was really inspired by him, it's really. I'm going to say right now that we should only have the serious votes. Anyways, so well, we wait for our jury reporter to call. The jury reporter, Moshe Gutman. He should be calling in. And okay, and I believe the jury reporter is here. Baruch Hashem. All right. We're all ready for you, Moshe.
I just wanted, before I start, I just wanted to ask, what is the number? I heard it once and I didn't get the full number. What is the number?
All right, he's going to say it slowly now, okay?
If you forget it, if you look on the computer, on the website, it has it there, in case you forget it again.
Kindle, if you don't have a computer, take a pen and paper right now, and we're going to give you 1 second to be able to get that paper.
I don't have paper in my house.
Shmelka, we're not talking to you. It's only for the boys and girls who do have paper in their house. Okay, so say the number.
So I'll say it now. You can write it down. If someone forgets it, they don't have it.
You can always text me also.
Or if the parents' book, it's on. You can look on the tab. The parents search for it, it'll come up. The only thing I'll tell you is that when the more children that call, we just make the phone able to take in more calls. So if a lot of children all call once, some children, if you get a busy signal, it only means too many children are calling at once, and we'll make it bigger, make more calls come in.
So my jury reporter, he's my jury reporter. Jury reporter means he has something to say about the parsha, and I am really excited that he has something to say because we're waiting for him for 2 weeks. But go ahead, say your number.
718-682-2777.
You got it?
Yeah.
All right, good. So, okay, excellent. So now let's go to you, what you have to say now.
Okay, this week, I was going to go for 2 weeks.
Yeah, I know. We missed you here. It was getting very lonely. You probably noticed it was getting a little bit
silly.
No, Shmelka, it wasn't getting silly. It was a little bit
boring.
No, it wasn't boring. It was nice and comfortable. I fell asleep. Go ahead. So what do you got to say this week?
Well, this week I decided to the baby stories and
Gedolim stories, excellent.
2 stories and 1 little thing about the fun rabbit. Now, there was a story that Mom showed me of the Amsterdam rabbit is and how Kabali has adapted. By his oldest son, the studio took place at 4 o'clock in the morning. The rabbit started dabbing in Mars at 2 o'clock in the morning, and he finished dabbing in Mars hours later. Now, if you ever dab in Mars, and if you ask your father or someone, how long does Mars take? Mars the most to take about 20 minutes or 25 minutes. Well, it's amazing to see that the Amsterdam rabbit actually died for 2 hours high. It's beyond about Mars the most takes half an hour. That means you can dive in 4 times Mars in 2 hours. And it's something that really amazes me. And tried to look up the one to another to touch it too. The second story I saw was there, the time and yesterday, blah, 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 and the firefighter. Legal action. The famous terrorist organization had a private question and answer of the crime on yesterday weekend. The session took place in the middle of the night, so that it is used wide by thousands of supporters in America. Before the question and answer session began, a lot of noisy work needed to be done in the house to set it up with video cameras and the necessary recording equipment. Since you have people watching in America, they needed all these recording equipment and video cameras that they were able to watch them on. And meanwhile, the story came up and when the war was going on, you would think that Tanzania would be able to learn when they just couldn't get a talk to someone, so you just be watching them. But what do you think? The Tanzania is entire player. You didn't even hear that thing. He opened up the paper and it's 2 seconds of looking through the paper, the sound went away and he was able to learn until the session started. The last thing about the point of evidence, the previous point of evidence, Mr. Albert, he was famous for arriving in the room. Everybody knew that you might want to walk around with a ticket for it. In case you had to go somewhere, and right away wants to record for him. So, and one of the proofs for this success story is that by his grandson's wedding, he asked immediately to gradually don't take that time. So he asked one of his cabons to bring in paper for them, and he immediately recorded it.
Is that all?
Yeah, so if you want that.
Wow, that was no. I was like, wow, it's an unbelievable story, and that's it's amazing story. Now, Rav Phillips, I'm sorry, Moshe, well done, job well done as usual, and Bezos Hashem next week. Boys and girls listening, next week we really have a guest person who's really going to be in, and he really it was really hard to get him. I worked almost 3 weeks on it.
3 weeks, that's it?
It was really half a year, but I call it 3 weeks because it felt like it. Yeah, and Moshe, have a great Shabbos. And if you have any birthday wishes or any shout outs, you could say them right now.
Well, I would like to then give a shout. I mean, I don't need to give a shout out to you because everybody hears it, but and everybody who is listening to the Phillips and usually just spoke recently about that show. But I'd like to give a shout out to my Rebbe and she's a sometimes that Rabbi Tekanel in 5th grade. She said that in my class.
Beautiful.
All right, okay. All right, then we're looking forward for next week. Okay. All right, that's fine. It's like Weimer next week, but you can join in and listen in because it's going to be an exciting interview with one of the 8th day people. Yeah.
Okay, nice hearing. I thank whoever was listening for listening to my stories, for the stories that I said just now. For those stories, I think that from both of those stories that was kind of nasty, and I'm sure that I think that every paper from it about, first of all, the kind of nasty, every other chance, even on the news, once you get into that habit, and you learn to start doing, it's not going to distract you, unless you have something else in your
Right. Good. Good stuff. Right. Well said. All right. Well said. And all right, it's almost time for me to go, so I'm going to ask my riddle again. And Moshe Gutman, good job again. Shout out to you. A big shout out to Rabbi checking out Chashav Rebbe in Parvadas, and I happen to know him. And a shout out from me, Moshe Grunfeld. The question was this week, what are the different names of Shavuos? Again, Kindle, there are many different names. Now, you can answer 2 answers. You can answer 3 answers. You can answer 4 answers. You can answer even a 5th answer because there, I believe, are 5 names. And the answer will be in next week's show. And if you want to know the answer really badly, you could text me 347-927-3279, and you can go to my Chesed Fund page via help for JRU Radio and for all of us here. Our hosts over here, we sit here, we prepare shows, and we do all this. We don't do it for ourselves. We don't have any fundraisers, but we need you. For those who are listening right now, we need you to fundraise for us. We do stuff for you. It's your turn to pay us back. And yes, and B'ezras Hashem, we will be live again on the air. This has been the Kishroni Hour. Our official Schechter is next, followed by some great shows. I'm Moshe Grunfeld. Don't go away. Some great things happening. Have a great Shabbos.
And remember
To count Sfida. Okay, it's fine. You know what? It's better that way, right?
who is giving the phone line for you?
For me?
Yeah.
Someone by the name of Zerkins. Yeah.